Hello, YouTube, and maybe TikTok. Maybe TikTok. I haven't been there in a while. What the hell? Oh my God. I disappear for, I don't know how long it's been. I'm even afraid to look, but 4 or 5 days maybe. I have been sick with the vid. Feeling pretty good tonight. I was miserable all day, but I'm not coughing. My sinuses have cleared. I'm awake, which is more than I can say for the last 5 days. But I've been gone, and there have been like comments exploding and weirdness, just weirdness. I posted the Shelley videos, what, a year ago, 10 months ago, when they were happening, contemporaneously with when they were happening. Initially, I uploaded them to my YouTube channel that had like no subscribers, so that I could share them on Facebook, share the link on Facebook. And then, 2-3 weeks ago, whatever it was, it exploded and went viral. Fine. And then Amanda starts commenting. Got a few things to say about this Amanda thing. Amanda starts commenting, sorry, I'll catch you up. Amanda is Shelley's daughter-in-law who lives next door. She starts off entering the chat dishonestly as a troll, saying things like, they live there now, Shelley hasn't lived there in years, and then that turned into Shelley hasn't lived here in months, that turned into Shelley hasn't been here in weeks. And you know what's funny? We're fixing the fence, my friend Stacy and I, 2 days ago. I don't know anymore. I've lost track of time. A few days ago, a couple days ago, a day ago, my friend Stacy came over and was helping me fix the fence. And she says, "Who's that lady looking out the window?" And I said, well, I couldn't see her because I was hiding behind the fence. And I said, "Blonde or brunette?" And she said, "Blonde." And I said, "Shelley. Shelley, who doesn't live here anymore, who hasn't been here in weeks, is looking out the window at us right now." So let's say it's 48 hours ago. It's been nonsense and fuckery, just a continuation of the fuckery. All right, actually, I was going to read you something that I wrote like 15 years ago because I was going to write a rant and to get warmed up because I haven't written in a long time. Okay, I wrote this book a long time ago, during the Bush administration. It's a quote book, but I've got a lot of my own essays in here, and I had a website called Canada Rye. So, too funny. I was a salient voice of the American progressive movement, but I'm a Canadian. I'm a Canadian, and I was a humor writer. So, that's how young I was. Crazy. Actually, I don't look that far off. But I was 20-something because I lived in Northern Ontario with one Cocker Spaniel and a small magician. My small magician is a grown-ass man now. Okay, where were we going? Oh, right, fuckery. Fuckery. The Amanda fuckery has turned into people questioning whether it's real and getting all up in arms, and some lovely people saying, "We believe you." The thing is, and I discovered this on the phone with my psychiatrist yesterday, I don't need to be believed. I don't need to be validated in that way. I know my experience. Am I looking in the wrong place? I know my experience, exactly what it was, and where what I've lived through next to these people. And I thank you, people that are supportive, but the people who don't believe me, I got videos with timestamps. If that's not receipts, I don't know what is. And I was accused, this is hilarious, I was accused of being a bully by Amanda. Listen, Amanda, here's the thing for you. You are articulate, you write well, you communicate clearly. I guess that's the same thing as articulate. This tells me, and you're not crazy or dumb. I know that. I absolutely give you credit as an intelligent, cognizant human being. So it's my feeling that you probably didn't want to start commenting, and the reason why your comments are nonsensical and sometimes outrageous is because Shelley is probably standing, your mother-in-law is probably standing over your shoulder directing you what to write. Because remember, I have experience with Shelley emails, and they are not well written, they are not articulate, they do not make sense. The best parts of them are the declaratives at the end. You've been warned. Call your lawyer. You know. Oh, it's so cute. But you now, in one of your the last comment I read, I don't know if you commented since then, but the last comment I read, you said, you accused me of a bunch of things. One of them is, you said the bullied has become the bully. And I was concerned about this, genuinely. I waited to talk to my psychiatrist. We had a regular appointment, a week later. So I said, let me just back off on this and get a perspective. And he is an objective perspective because while he is my advocate and knows me really well and, whatever, he would not let me do harm. He would not advocate me doing harm. He would, and while he's not like super social media savvy, I would guess, he agrees with me that I'm not being a bully. You know what I'm being? And I'll address this to Shelley. Shelley, you know what I am? I'm not your bully. I'm your mirror. My intention was to show you your own behavior. And if I was really lucky, show you other people reacting to your behavior. I think that you have lived without consequence for a long time. I think that you thought that I was going to lie down, shut up, and take it for however long you wanted to dish it out. But I told you I would post things on YouTube, and I told you not to do anything that you would be embarrassed to find on YouTube. But you did. You said, I don't care. Well, there you go. You care a little now, don't you? You do care. And the thing is, I didn't trick you into performing for my cameras. It's not like they were secret cameras. You knew about them the whole time. You knew they were there, and you knew I was recording you, and you knew I'd post it on YouTube. So, get over yourself. I'm not your bully. I'm holding up a mirror. There are consequences to behavior, Shelley. Maybe you don't know this, but there is. And it's about time you learned. It's about time I stood up for myself, and it's about time you learned to keep it in your pants. I'm done. I'm done with being a doormat. I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. I told you I would not be abused, I would not be threatened, and I would not be screamed at. So the choice is up to you if you do those behaviors. Now, it seems to me that what you were trying to do is you were going to hide from my cameras while having Amanda post that you don't live there anymore. And you were going to hide from the cameras. And that's why, you thought that you could get away with that silliness. So it means that you're not screaming out windows. You're not running out onto the deck to scream at me from your deck. You're not posting new signs. You did post the post. You did erect the post full of signs, a couple of weeks ago? And then it came down when you discovered the YouTube and the TikTok. Did you discover the TikTok yet? It's almost 1 million views, Shelley. Almost 1 million. And across all platforms, probably 150,000 comments. Most of them people disagree with your behavior. And most people have very colorful ideas about how they would personally deal with it. But notice, I have not done any of those things. I am waiting very quietly to take you to court, which is where this all belongs. It's all gonna end up in court. It's all gonna be resolved peacefully by a member of the judiciary, by a neutral third party who will listen to the facts and hopefully inform you about the laws, because you sure as hell haven't listened to me. All right. Is that enough? Do I need to say more, you guys? Oh, okay. Let's talk about name calling. You know what we learned in kindergarten, Amanda? We learned sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And we learned be a good neighbor. So, if you're going to pick one elementary school lesson, why not pick up the other two? Your hands are not clean in this, by the way. I remember now, before I erected the last slats in the fence, the Ashton Kutcher fence in the lower garden, I called Tony over, who was on the lawnmower, and we had our last conversation. So, a little less than a year ago now. And I was talking to him first about the signs, because she'd put them all along the back. And I said, I've never had any designs on your fence. I've never touched your fence. You can dust your fence for fingerprints. You know that. You are punishing me for something that Ian Watts apparently did 24 years ago. And it doesn't make sense. It's not fair, and it's ridiculous. And this is next level ridiculous. And he agreed with me, and he said he would talk to Shelley, but of course, talking to, Mr. Shelley, never resulted in resolution to Shelley problems. And in fact, he's complicit because he stands by while she heckles, stands by while she throws garbage over, he's complicit, but he's at least easy to talk to. So there was that. And then I wanted to talk to him about the wedding, because the wedding thing had just happened. And that, boys and girls, is where a nice young couple had a COVID small family wedding here. And during the ceremony out on the deck, the Shelleys next door started blaring music. So it got so bad, the father of the bride walked off. They stopped the ceremony. Father of the bride walked next door, which is actually not a short walk. Walked next door, knocked on the door, asked them to please turn it down during the ceremony, and the Shelleys agreed. And then Dad walked all the way back and around the house and up onto the deck, and they started the ceremony again, and the Shelleys started blaring the music again. So they ruined the ceremony. And then afterwards, I had to go back and read her text to me. And I remembered, holy shit, because I talked to Tony about Mr. Shelley about this. Oh, it's too late now, but I talked to Mr. Shelley about this. And I said, why would you ruin a wedding? Why would you do that? Why would you choose then to come over during the reception and interrupt it by posting more signs, which you had to trespass on my property to do? You had to trespass on my property during a wedding to post more signs that say no trespassing. Does that make any sense? And who does that? And he was, I don't know whether to believe him or not. I don't believe anybody over there anymore. But he appeared to be surprised. And he says, I don't know anything about this. And then we talked more about it. He goes, oh, we were camping that weekend. So, Amanda, that would leave either Tony has just thrown you under the bus, or it was you, or either he's being dishonest or you are, but someone, he might have just thrown you under, blah, 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 blah. He may have just thrown you under the bus, because who was home when Tony and Shelley were off in the woods? You and your husband. So would that be the man and woman that came over and were hanging signs during the ceremony or blaring the music during the ceremony? You're a young woman, young married woman with 2 children. How would you feel if someone had done that to your wedding? This girl was innocent. This young man was innocent. They did nothing. Wrong. So you're trying to hurt me by hurting them, and you call me a bully? Are you? Whatever. Jesus Christ. So let's get to solutions. Your offers now, your fuckery in the chat has turned to offers of solutions, and you want to resolve this. Funny, you would enter dishonestly by telling lies, fomenting dissent and telling lies. So as a troll, basically. And then as you get discovered and called out, now it's like all about me being a bully to you, and you just want solutions and resolutions. Well, listen, you already acknowledged that I was bullied, and so where was your offer of brokering a police accord or solutions back then? It's only now that a light has been shone on you guys and your behavior that you want a solution. And what solutions can there be? The cameras are acting as a deterrent. They're not coming down. Clearly, Shelley doesn't like them. Now that she knows what the cameras do, they record things, and that can be broadcast to the internet. Sorry, I think I warned you a couple times. So the cameras aren't going anywhere. And in fact, just so you know, the one that's viewing the lower fence right now, you'll know this from your camera that you just installed. The top part, the gray part, doesn't record, which is all your grass and your backyard. I can see it if I view the camera live, but I can see you, but it doesn't trigger recording or anything up there. The only thing, I've got a motion sensor zone and then the camera's own limitations, and it is the fence and the property line. And the reason it tapes that is because that's where all the fuckery took place. Were it not for the introduction of the fuckery, there would be no cameras. I never would have thought in a million years to get cameras. Things were happening, animals, garbage, the nonsense, rocks, cracked window, I assume from rocks, but I don't know. And I'm not accusing you of breaking it. I'm just saying that there was enough fuckery happening that I gotta buy cameras and figure out what's going on. But all the time I'm like, not them. They're like normal. I've got no problem with them. So I don't know what could be happening. And sometimes it wasn't you. It was very funny. I've got the continuous record cameras have a cable outside, right? Running power to the cameras all the time. And I went out, this was just a couple weeks ago. I went out and the cable was cut. And it looked like it had been placed over a thumb and a knife had gone through it because it was on a perfect angle and clean. So I call Cheryl, I videotape it, and I call Cheryl and I said, look at that. That's done with a knife. That's not done with, if it was a critter, they would have chewed up the rubber exterior on the wire. They would have chewed all that up. And I went back and looked at the library, and a groundhog came from your property onto mine, bit through the wire, and ran away. They got the teeth for it. Anyway, I thought that was hilarious. So, it's not always you, but the cameras are helpful, because otherwise I would be wondering every minute what next, what you were doing next. And not you, Amanda, I mean the Shelleys. You is the collective on the other side of the fence. So the cameras are staying. The channel is staying, because I think that also has a deterrent effect. I don't believe for a second that, okay, you know what? I've got about 150,000 comments across all videos, across all platforms, and probably more. But I haven't read every single one of them, and I can't read every single one of them, because it's just it's an impossibility. People say things, and They do. I can't stop them from doing that. If you are getting phone calls, I'm not sure I believe you, and that's because you have presented yourself dishonestly. If you feel threatened, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but if you feel threatened, if you think something is genuine and someone's out to get you, or you're having harassing phone calls, I believe harassing phone calls you call Bell about. I believe, at least in the old days you did. And if you think there's a threat, you call the police and they do a threat assessment. No one's going to get onto my property to harm you. I'm certainly not going to harm you. I haven't yet. All I've done is hold up a big ass mirror to your mother-in-law, which she deserves. You know, with the torts that I've expected to go to court with, basically the definition of the aggravating factors. Oh, I wish I had it open in front of me. But the aggravating factors are basically behavior so outrageous that any ordinary man would look at it, would look at it and think, this is outrageous and I will not tolerate it. I think the signs qualify. You try to minimize that as just some little old lady hanging signs on her very own fence. No, that was targeted. That's bullshit. It was targeted. Ridiculous. Even if it wasn't. And then after the 2 fences where there's no way anyone can reach through and touch your dogs or trespass on your property, another post full of frickin' signs. Well, the pond was still up until I covered that up. And then another post full of signs goes up. Now everything that you do, and I'm talking again collectively, I don't think you're doing it, Amanda. Anything Shelley does now just makes her look more ridiculous. So I'm feeling a little stronger. And when while I was like unconscious for the last few days, whenever I would sleep for these long periods, kind of wake up, I'd be thinking about this, and am I being a bully, and name calling. And name calling is a big problem in childhood bullying. But I think adults are allowed to call out behavior and call out names. Seriously, I do. I would have said, because I made another video for you initially. I went, oh, like, I'm so sorry, and oh, I didn't mean to. That's bad character, and if I did, I'm very sorry. No, I'm calling out behavior, and I may misspeak. I may get excitable. I may spew out the mouth like anybody does who gets emotional. But that's just the way it is. You know I'm not threatening you. I'm not threatening Shelley. Insofar as court goes, court is a place where reasonable minds who disagree go to be adjudicated by a neutral third party. Period. Oh. I get all excited. My psychiatrist, I wanted his point of view on whether or not I was being a bully and whether I was doing wrong. Should I take the channel down? And he was like, no. First, he totally didn't understand. He thought Shelley had moved away, and even then, and then when I told him, no, she's still there. They're just saying online that she went away. She hasn't lived there in years, and she hasn't lived there in months. She hasn't lived there in weeks, but saw her yesterday. And he was like, oh, well, I mean, that's just dishonest. And he knows how bullied, how cowed, how threatened I have been, intimidated, afraid to go into my own yard. And if I have gained some their confidence from this, good. And I'm not being a bully. Did I say it? I've said it 3 times now. I'm being a mirror. Look in the mirror, look at your behavior, and if you want to be seen differently by the world, then act differently. You thought I was going to lie down and take it. And I'm not. And I'm going to quote Heather Dubrow for Shelley. 150,000 comments at least among all the platforms. Most of them say you're wrong. And to quote Heather Dubrow, as she said to Alexis Bellini, "When the world says you're dead, it's time to lie down." So lie down, Shelley. I hope this ends your mistreatment of me, and I'll just go on peacefully living my life. And should you come out and yell, I'll continue to ignore you. Only now I'm not going to let it bother me so much, because I have a lot of people on my side. A lot of people not. Okay, enough about you. Next thing, let's talk about independent old lady for a minute, shall we? I read the last, I don't know how many comments she's made since then, but the last comment I read was her sincerely hoping that I would get mental health assistance and her nonsense. And I would just like to say, ignorant old lady, you can ride the high horse. Wait. That's a mighty high horse you rode in on. You can ride it right back on out. I've got no more energy for, I just don't understand. You know what? You don't need to understand. I don't need your understanding. I don't need you to be involved. You are a troll, lady. You're a troll. And you're just disingenuous. And I've had it. I'm feeling myself tonight, people. Do you hear that? I'm feeling myself. I had this thing with the ex Mr. Jules, very inadvertent, the night before I talked to Dr. M, actually. And I was talking on the phone with ex Mr. Jules, and he was telling me that the first Mr. Buddy, Mrs. Buddy, the other Jules, his first ex-wife, for God's sakes. For Jesus Murphy Brown. The first Mrs. was saying stuff about me behind my back that I really seriously disagreed with. For one thing, his house went into foreclosure. I worked really, really hard to save his house, pay child support for a year, busting my hump, working 3 jobs, selling all my stuff, trying to raise money to keep a roof over our heads, his roof over our heads, and to pay his child support and meet his obligations, all while he quit his job, took up full-time pot smoking and video games, and was stealing from me. And this is before the violence started. And then when the violence started, I stopped paying. No, that's not true. I paid for a while. Anyway, the point was, when it came time to leave, when I contacted his first ex-wife, because who better to help me leave him? Who better to help me leave Brian than someone who's already done it before? And a lot of people didn't know the extent of what was going on, and I thought that she would. We'd just been in a really contentious 3-year custody battle in court that was nasty. But when it came time, she stepped up, and I've trusted her with everything. And so to hear her talking about me behind my back to Brian, I was upset. So while I'm on the phone with him, I'm texting her saying, hey, I'm upset. Have you violated my trust? Have I made a terrible mistake? One of the things that she said that, pardon me while I scratch my boob. Yes, I am. This is just the top of it. Never mind. One of the things she said was she was asking him why I didn't do more to save his house. Do more? I couldn't do more. He wouldn't lift a finger. My hope was, because he hadn't gone completely off the rails yet, was that a letter from the bank, consequences, Shelley, consequences would lead him to take action, and that if I was enabling him by breaking my himself trying to save him, with him lifting not a finger and taking everything I had. In the meantime, we weren't going to get anywhere, and he was not going to be a man that I could stay with anyway. And then things got violent, and then I had to go anyway. And then I had to worry about money for how I was going to leave. So what this tells me is, if she's saying this to him last week, pardon me, pardon my fleshy leg, she's saying this to him behind my back last week, then what I said to her is, then that means you think I should have saved his house and stayed with him, because to save his house to what? Save his house to what end? Like, then where am I left? I'm left living with him to continue to be, and I was saying to him on the phone while I'm typing to her, to be abused and violated and, beaten and intimidated and saying it all, but I'm very casual to him, as if he's not the perpetrator. I'm more concerned about her. And her only response was, ouch. And I was like, I was asking you to validate my experience, because I said, I feel invalidated. Like, I've trusted you with all of this, and to hear you say this makes me think you don't believe I was abused, although she was there. She was actually quite a warrior for me. So it was all just not fitting. And I was talking to Dr. Malott about it, and Dr. M about it. I was talking to Dr. M about it. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Talk to Dr. M about it, and his reaction was very interesting, because he's like, oh, I love how you turned that around on him. I bet he didn't expect that. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, you just laid it all out in a confrontational way that I've never heard from you before. And it's true, because I do bring things up with him, because sometimes I wanted an apology. I've never I have kind of received an apology, but sometimes when I was still letting him be involved in the periphery of my life, and I guess he still is now, because I'm paid his rent and paid rent, and I pay for his phone. I have been paying for his phone all along. Still taking care of him, because it's mental illness, because it's different than if he was just evil. Although Dr. M pointed out that he's very manipulative in a very soft way. So you don't know, it flies under the radar sometimes. Dr. M was like, listen, he was probably being manipulative, which we know he is, because he doesn't want his ex-wife and his other ex-wife to be so chummy. Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I thought that he liked us to have a good relationship because like me to be involved with the children still. But yeah, that makes sense. So I don't know if I drew any conclusions or wrapped anything up in a nice little bow there. I'll got a couple little jump edits to make, but let me read to you from my book a very short piece. It's about the Iraq War. It's not very long, but I was trying to get in touch with who I used to be as a writer, because I had a cadence to my humor writing that made humor writing very easy, because it came second nature, and I've lost it over the decades since I was doing it. So I was just trying to remind myself. And this is the first one I read from the book, right at the back. And it's actually from the web, but I put it in the book. Hamsters. It's called Hamsters. Gathering threat, burrowing menace. A furry plague on our planet, hamsters need to be wiped out before every street in America is lined with cedar shavings. What untold evil lurks in the hearts of these sadistic bastards? Who will be the next victim of these bastions of mayhem? How do we foil their dastardly plans? These are some of the crucial questions we must ask ourselves before it's too late. We call upon our government to take immediate preemptive military action against the hamsters. They must be wiped out where they live, work, and train. We must fight them there so that we will not have to fight them here. We must wage a global war on hamsters before they further infiltrate our homes, strip malls, and kindergarten classrooms. All pet stores and primary schools must be carpet bombed with cats immediately. We recognize and regret that there will be a human toll paid once our troops are engaged in armed conflict with the hamsters, but remember, these pet stores have been openly harboring hamsters for generations. Although we mourn the loss of innocent civilian lives, it's a small price to pay to make our world safe from the hamster scourge. Evil, thy name is hamster. I should have said, evil, thy name is Mr. Squiggles. Or what's a good hamster name? Anyway, do you know why hamsters run on that wheel all night long? This is a rhetorical question, so don't hurt yourself. I mean, shade, Jules. This is a rhetorical question, so don't hurt yourself. It powers their doomsday machine. If I have to explain how any of this relates to the Iraq war, please let me know. It's a fact. We have seen the intelligence. Hamsters have been secretly building a massive doomsday machine consisting of colored plastic tubes and often bearing the name Hagen, an acronym for Hamsters United to Eradicate Humans and Children and God. Wait, the letters don't quite work there. There's an N in there somewhere, something or other. Well, we don't know exactly what it stands for, but rest assured, we're 100% confident that it's really, really bad. The plan. While human beings slept. Okay, no, sorry, I need reading glasses. While human beings sleep, hamsters all over the world are frantically generating electricity and storing it in a network of underground deep cyclomarine batteries. Then those hamsters fall asleep, and on the other side of the world, the other half wakes up and starts running. This electricity will be used to power their doomsday machine. So far, that's all we know. Open your eyes. Why else would these cuddly barbarians spend hours and hours running fast but going nowhere? It's not like they are concerned about their figures. It doesn't make any sense. If we don't understand it, then obviously our only choice is to fear it and eliminate it. Their cache of batteries is undoubtedly located in a secure underground location in or around Phoenix, Arizona. We have startling evidence in the form of satellite photos that show many houses and large structures that could easily be used to house batteries or doomsday machines. And although we have not seen these batteries or the doomsday machine, we are certain they pose a grave and immediate risk to all mankind. God forbid we wait for proof. We may not know if the doomsday device actually exists until they use it. Does this sound familiar? Colin Powell, I had respect for you. That's a chance we can't afford to take. I just read that. They may look cute and furry, but don't let them fool you. It's a global hamster conspiracy at work. What if the hamster's doomsday machine fell into the hands of Al-Qaeda? There's no telling how many lives may be lost. Do we learn from the lessons of September 11th, or do we trust the words of a madman? We must fight the hamsters now, before the next election, before Americans ask questions about the president's competence as a leader, or the Republican Party is overwhelmed by scandals and malfeasance, or, before it's too late. Common sense, reason, and free inquiry will not be tolerated. You've been warned. Call your lawyer. Anyway, that is tonight's rant. I've thoroughly enjoyed your company. I don't think anybody wants me to live stream anymore, so I'm just not doing it. Although it probably would be better off if I could get the chats to come up. Oh, maybe I'll start live streams and I'll read to you. I've written 7 books, so maybe I'll just start reading to you books. Or other people's books. Oh, I can't do that. I have the copyright on my books. Anyway, next time we meet, I'll read on sex and bicycles. What? On sex and bicycles. Okay, we're done. Why was I going left? Let's go right. Anyway, it's, I'm so glad we had this time together. It is over. I'm going to sleep. I've probably expended way more energy than I have in like days. Feel a little feverish. Skin looks pretty good for a sick person. I said goodbye and now I'm not stopping. Wait, you know what's cool? What I was gonna do? I was gonna do, nobody wants this on the Shelley Loves Dallas channel, but on my personal channel I was going to do an unboxing because I spent a shitload on luxury cosmetics and I was going to unbox them with you. I have this strange quirk. I don't like to wear makeup, but I do love to buy it. Every chunk of years I'll just spend, $600 on luxury makeup, and I keep it in the boxes for as long as I can, and ooh, I love it. The best thing I bought this time, because it's like done wonders for my skin, is this Youre Life micellar water no rinse cleanser. I've been using it for 3 days, and the lighting in here is weird, but my skin looks really good. I'm glowy. Or maybe that's the fever, who knows. Anyway, I was gonna unbox all my makeup. Last time I did this, it was right before I went in for cancer surgery. I just bought like all my Optimum points, hundreds of thousands of Optimum points, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Bought all this luxury makeup for no reason. I wasn't gonna need it because I was gonna be in bed for quite a while. But I did, and then I did it this week, and it's still in all the boxes, and I like it. It's pretty. It's pretty. My brushes. Anyway, now it's over. I'll tell you when this video is over, and it's over now. You've been warned. Call your lawyer. There's another one. What's her other declarative? I've said it in other videos. If anyone knows it and can remind me, I will send you a copy of 2 of my books. This one and the Donald Trump one. Dumbass and Dumbass 2 TOO. The Trump one is not very good though. The cover art is great, so it's good to have on your shelf. This one is much funnier. And I spent much, much more time on it. Okay. Bye. Love you. Love your work.